Sarah Kellerman from Nunthorpe in Middlesbrough is in the studio with us. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning.
A trailblazer.
Indeed.
That's what you are. Don't look so surprised. But apparently that's what I've been told to call you, a trailblazer.
Is that right?
Because you're the first woman that's held the role. What is the role?
I'm the regional chairman of the Institution of Civil Engineers for the North East region, and that's the first time a woman's been North East chairman in the 125-year history of the North East Regional Civil Engineers.
Wow! So what, do you get something special for that then? Do you get a big badge or something?
Not a big badge, but an opportunity to help promote the Institution of Civil Engineers for a year. I've been Teesside branch chairman for the last 2 years,
right.
And then this year I've been promoted into the regional chair position, and we get the chance to represent the Institution of Civil Engineers at regional level.
I mean, it's a fantastic accolade to be the first woman to hold the role, but it's sort of like it begs the question, and not taking anything away from you, why have we had to wait this long?
I think we've waited this long because the diversity in engineering is not that high, and we've got lots of keen young ladies who are working in engineering, and we need to encourage them to take on the roles and the positions that's available to them.
Have we got more females in engineering, or is it a case that we actually, or the media, take more notice if there's a young lady training to be an engineer, and there's the picture, the obligatory picture with the hard hat, the goggles on and the overalls and everything in front of a multi-million-pound piece of equipment, and it's still, a woman's doing that these days.
Yes, I think there's been, when I started about 30 years ago, and there was about 8% of women in the industry then, and now there's about 12%, so we are increasing, but it is a generally steady between 8 and 12%, and we've got a lot more at junior levels, but at the more senior levels there's many less of us, if you say.
So why did you want to do it then? Going into the history of your career, what set you on this path?
Well, I took maths, physics, and geography at A level, and they were the subjects that I liked best. And I was looking for a career which fitted those subjects. Geography was probably my favourite subject, but I really liked maths and physics as well. So I was given a selection of careers to choose from, and out of that selection, I chose to be a water engineer. I loved swimming, and I liked canoeing on the rivers and things like that. That was my thing at the time. So that seemed to be something that I would like to do, to something involved in water, but a technical role, a career which would cover that.
And going into that industry, then, were you the only female at the time? Was it still looked on as being very male-dominated? And when you walked into the room, it was like, what are you doing here? Did you sense that?
I think sometimes it was, but most people are actually very welcoming. And when you're very young,
it's a bit of a myth, isn't it?
It is a bit of a myth that people aren't welcoming, because they are welcoming, and they like to see a bit of diversity, and they like to see new people, and they're very encouraging of young engineers. So, in terms of when you're younger, I think it's more difficult as you get a little bit older, because obviously you go and have families and children and things, and you have to work your job as well, but that's the same for everybody. So, but people on the whole are very welcoming. They're very encouraging, and they let you have very positive about everybody being part of a team.
And this has taken you around the world, this job, and around this country certainly. But you've helped design and been at the forefront of a lot of things that possibly A, we may not see, or B, we take for granted.
Well, I personally have worked. I have worked abroad, and lots of people have the opportunity to work abroad in engineering. Obviously, everybody in the world needs water, don't they? So there's always, an infrastructure and roads, and that's what we do. So there's opportunities to work around the world if you wanted to. I've gradually moved up the north of the UK, but I've been involved in projects in all over the UK, and I've helped international projects as well, and we've
You've been here, there, and everywhere. Is what you're trying to tell us in a roundabout way. I know. You're trying to be modest.
I think that if you want to go anywhere in engineering, it's certainly the opportunity that's there for people. And people like travelling around, and they see new people, and they meet friends, and they see how different people work and how different countries, the cultures in different countries, and it's all very interesting to meet different people in other places.
Okay, let's come back. Let's talk some more in just a moment, because I want to play a little bit of music and also get the latest on the roads if you're making a trip. It's 11:15 at BBC Tees. Greg's got the latest. We're talking at the moment in the studio with somebody who's a trailblazer. Her name is Sarah Kellerman, and she's from Middlesbrough, from Nunthorpe. She's just been elected by the Institution of Civil Engineers as its regional chairman for the North East. It's the first time that a woman's held the role, and she's been in this line of work, a career for over 30 years, making and working on some of the big projects, from things like highways to rail to road to even clean water, dirty water. You don't mind going to a sewer and having a look round and all of that sort of stuff, obviously with the correct gear on. I suppose it's one of those, it's like any job. When you actually have a chat with somebody about it, get in under the bonnet of it and have a look at the nuts and bolts. Actually, it's fascinating in the way it affects everybody's life. What you're doing, either above ground or underground, is going to have an effect on everybody, so you better get it right.
Well, civil engineers deal with infrastructure mainly, and so infrastructure touches all our lives on a daily basis. So we have to, as engineers, we see a problem and then we try and come up with a solution, and that's what engineering's about. Engineering's about problem solving, and people think, oh, it's very maths and physics based, and it's very, very, very technical, but actually it's about. It requires some thinking to solve a problem, and then to think about how that problem, when you've got a solution to that problem, how that will affect everything else as well around it. So if you see that a river's being polluted by sewage, then you need to be able to put something in place that stops that pollution. So that that might be a treatment works, and then somebody's got to design that, and somebody's got to work out how many people it has to serve and the flows and everything. So there's like a whole process which brings other engineers as well into a team effort to solve a problem, and that's what engineering is.
Is it a lot of standing around a desk in an office looking at schematic plans and going, right, with a load of colleagues, or is it more, have you got a pair of wellies always in the car with you and a set of overalls and a hard hat, so in case you're needed? I mean, which is it? Is it out and about, or is it in the office?
Depends what sort of engineer.
Which one do you like the best?
Well, most engineers have the opportunity to do a bit of both, which makes life a little bit interesting and a little bit very enjoyable. It means that you're not doing the same thing day in, day out. You've got lots of opportunities to do variety. You could move and do different things. So you could start your career doing one thing, like I did. I spent 15 years on water engineering, but actually I spend a lot of my time on construction contracts now. So I've sort of moved my career into different places. Other people start on site and then move into a more management development role and things like that. So there's no barriers to where you might want to be and to where you start. If you get a good wide experience, then you can do lots of different things.
Is it healthy? Is it a healthy area of work in terms of the number of people wanting to be a part of it, coming through the ranks, so to speak? Or is it still a bit of a challenge to get people into engineering, because this area is massive for it, obviously?
It's not so much a challenge to get people into engineering, but it's probably a challenge to get as many people as we need in engineering. The age demographic of the engineering industry is getting towards retirement age, and it's really important that we try and bring people in from at school leaver and graduate level and train those to be engineers, so that there's a succession plan for the future. We're predicting at the moment they're predicting a several 100,000 shortfall of engineers in the next few years. So it's important that we encourage people to take up a career that provides them with lifelong learning and lifelong interest.
And also skills that they can take into their everyday life as well, obviously. Problem solving being one of them.
Yes, well,
the biggest
there's
one.
lots of problems.
Tell me about it.
Everybody meets problems, and everybody has to have a method of thinking about something to solve it, and that's the sort of application that's being an engineer is. That's what we do.
And you in this position now and in this role, and as we said, the first lady to take on this role, you're going to be wanting to use this as a platform to inspire the next generation to come through as well.
Yes, I'm really keen that we inspire the next generation, especially young women, to come into engineering. We have. I'm also the ICE's representative on the Cleveland Scientific Institution, and that's a body which encourages and funds STEM activities with local children. I was reading this morning. I think the CSI, 8,000 students last year, helped them to see what an engineering career is like. And my representation from the ICE on that body is really important. And we have the bridge building. For the civil engineers, we have a bridge that we take to schools. We run the Inspire competition for children to design a poster, and then they go, they submit it, and the winners go and spend a day designing. Designed a shelter last year, and then in the afternoon they built it, and then they were hosed down in the afternoon to see if they'd managed to make it waterproof while they were in it. So it was a definite incentive for them to make a waterproof structure. So we spend a lot of time we have an education panel, the ICE, and we work with the STEMnet system as well. So yeah, there's.
Is it fun? I mean, is this a question that you get asked by people who, have not heard the story of what you've done with your career and what happens? It's one of the first questions you always ask you. Being an engineer, it's not that much fun, is it? Because you're plodding around and looking at things and going to sewage farms. It's not that much fun, is it? But you're going to tell me it's a ball.
I am going to tell you it's a ball. Yes, I mean it's a team game, engineering. And there's lots of different engineers and lots of different disciplines. People, there's environmental people and mechanical engineers and planners and all those sorts of people come in, and then obviously the construction process as well. And everybody tries to make it enjoyable. So that's what we do.
And have you got used to the phrase trailblazer yet?
No.
Well, listen, congratulations. How long do you have the position for? Is it now
for the year?
Have it for the year.
And we've got our second female chairman next year as well planned.
Oh, wow.
So we got 125 years. One and then two come at once.
Exactly.
So, yes.
Oh, well, that's great. So the clock is ticking on your year to go out and inspire those people. I suppose if anybody wants any more information, can get in touch with the Institution of Civil Engineers.
Yes,
ICE North East.
Yes, we're on the website. There's a website with all the information and plenty of information. And if people want to, we can come and talk to schools.
Brilliant. Well, good luck with your year.
Thank you very much.
In office.
Thank you.
And hope it goes well. Thanks for coming in and tell us a little bit more about your trailblazing days. Sarah, thanks very much.
Thank you.